Hey, I'm Lovin from Overmind, and we're here with Daveys Suicide, who's really tall. If you could date any celebrity for one day, who would it be and what would you do? And then you'd never see them again after the day.
It would be Megan Fox. Is that cliche?
Yeah.
It kind of is, but that's the only person that really like stands out to me. So that would be her.
And what would you do?
What wouldn't I do? That's the better question. I would put an Optimus Prime outfit on, and then I'd proceed to take it off with her clothes.
Yeah.
You know.
Since you have like 20K Twitter followers and Facebook likes, do you consider yourself successful?
To where I want to go, not yet. You know, I think we're on our way, and our fans are making it bigger and bigger, and I think that we're getting there. So, but we're not there.
So you haven't made it yet?
No, definitely not. You know, artists are never really satisfied. You know, and I think we have a long way to go, but we're budding, so we just need more sunlight.
What's like the logo? It's like a heart with a cross in it. What does like the heart and the cross like? What does it really represent?
It symbolizes second chances. I think that, you know, if I didn't have second chances in my life, like I wouldn't be where I am today, and that's why I kind of created it. You know.
Okay. And so is that the same with like the baptism with the baby powder?
Yeah. That they kind of go hand in hand. So I'm big on, you know, kind of like rebirth. You know, I think you go through things once and you fuck up a lot, and then you learn from your mistakes and you do it better, hopefully.
If you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be?
Pineapple doesn't count, right?
That's a fruit.
That's a fruit, it is. Broccoli's the first thing that came to my mind. I think because it's got the ridiculous stuff at the top, which happens to be my favorite, and I like my dreads, so there we go.
If you could go to any time period, like in the world, and like it wouldn't mess up the fabric of time, and you could just like observe, like you couldn't participate, but you could observe, what would you pick?
I'd be psyched to see what happens in like 100, 200 years, just to see. And everything that's happened, it's already happened, so I'm not really care. I can read a history book to find out about that, but the future is more interesting to me. So 100 years from now, 200 years from now, like when the Jetsons become real, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to see. If you could ask yourself one question, what would it be?
I think a lot of times I don't listen the first time I go through things. So I ask myself, why don't I pay more attention the first go around? I think if I did that, then I wouldn't have made so many mistakes.
Do you feel like you grow from your mistakes, or?
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, I've grown so much. That's why the second chances thing's relevant for cross your heart and stuff. So.
Who's your favorite artist growing up?
Probably Axl Rose, as a musician. Salvador Dali was my favorite painter. And I think Tim Burton was my favorite director. Guns N' Roses was my favorite band. Still are.
Yeah.
Still are. I mean, you know, after the Illusions, I didn't care about Chinese democracy anymore. But up until then, I loved everything that they did.
Who's your favorite lyricist or poet?
Probably Eminem. Manson's up there, older Manson stuff. But Eminem, I think, as a collective whole, his lyrics, I think, are better.
And they just like speak to you more, or?
Yeah, I think he has a way of painting the picture it's really, it captures it for me, you know, like I can watch, as I listen, I can watch along in my head, and like, you know, the storyline goes through, and I think a good lyricist paints that picture. I think he's great at that.
What do you want your fans to get from your lyrics?
I want them to realize that, you know, we have so much control in ourselves to accomplish everything we want, and don't take no for an answer. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you feel like what you're doing is right, don't worry about what the outside skeptics are going to say, because you're always going to get that. So that's what I would say.
If you could wish for anything in the world, what would it be?
I mean, I'm living what I love, so I wouldn't want this anymore, except for it to just get bigger and bigger. You know, I've set up my life so that this could be my life, and I guess my only wish is that this will last as long as I'm around. So.
How old were you when you realized you wanted to be a musician?
I was 12, yeah. And I knew it. Like, it was the only thing I cared about. You know, I always did art. I played sports, but this helped keep me away from drugs, and this was my therapy. You know, I put on Guns or Pantera or Metallica, and like that was my escape. So I knew that it had to be a part of me forever. And then writing music to me and seeing how people respond is the best high in the world.
So we, as Overman, like we do a lot of underground bands, like a lot of independent bands. What would your advice be for them?
I think people need to worry about getting great at your craft. I think forget all the bells and whistles, get great first, and then push to get noticed. Too many people just want to be noticed or discovered, and I'm a firm believer that with everything that's accessible today, if you get great at something, people are going to find out. So practice, 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 fail a million times, and just remember to get back up.
Do you think your image has anything to do with your success?
I think our image has to do with the kind of people we are. You know, it's like we all like horror movies, dark stuff. Like I'm obsessed with the Saw series. And I think our image is just an extension of our personality. We look ridiculous every day. So this is just...
Like this isn't like a stage or anything?
No, we just turn it up a little bit more for the stage. But we're loud people, and that's what we do.
How do you unwind?
For me?
Yeah.
I like to watch SportsCenter. I think that's unwinding. That's good for me. But like, you know, just listening to music, that's good. I paint, so it all kind of helps.
What are the rest of your goals for 2012? Like almost finishing 2012, but not yet there.
Well, I want to be, you know, on the road for the rest of the year, which it looks like we're going to be. Our record coming out, and everything that we're doing, you know, it's just executing it. And you know, watching, you know, the fans start dressing like us when they come to shows, like just seeing that build and seeing more people start realizing that they're in control of their life and that they're in the driver's seat. Just seeing it amplified that's a big enough goal for me. That would make me happy. What's
like next? Like your record's coming out, and like, are you working on new?
We have a big tour mid-July that goes through August, and then we're gonna have another tour in September and October. And but our July tour is with Static X.
Okay.
So that's gonna be cool.
So, like I was saying earlier, like a lot of bands don't really come to Western Canada area. Like,
yeah.
What are your tips like for like local bands or whatever to like just get like the music scene kind of more focused? Like LA is a really good music scene.
I've seen every great bands just need to support each other more, because one band doesn't do it alone. It's always, you know, in the 80s, it was all the 80s hair bands, you know, and there was always a scene in Seattle, you know, it was the grunge bands, and then, you know, they had Korn, Deftones, Limp Bizkit, and all like the immortal bands. It takes a bunch of people to create a scene, to create the fans that want to come see it. And I think instead of tearing each other down, build each other up. And I think that's vital in a local situation, in a regional situation, in a worldwide situation. So, but I think don't be scared to go to where the music's happening. You know, like we all moved to LA. We were all from the East Coast and the Midwest. And, you know, you got to go to where it's happening to make it happen sometimes. Yeah. So don't be scared to leave your hometown. It's going to be hard, but do it. If that's what you love and that's all you know.
Before you want to be a musician, what did you want to be growing up?
That's really the only thing I can remember. You know, I did art since I was 6, but once the music thing happened, that's all I ever knew. You know, and that created like tension between my parents and myself, and that's why I moved out when I was 16 and all that stuff. So this is it.
If you could tell your fans like one like message that you like want them to know, what would it be?
I think in life, boundaries are only there because we put them there. You know, so don't let yourself feel trapped and live free, you know. This is Davey Suicide, and you've been watching Overmind. Give me some Dre.
I don't know any Dre. Sorry.
Snoop. No Snoop?
No.
Want some Eminem lyrics?
There you go.
I don't know any Eminem.
Oh my gosh.
I grew up with
Girls.
You're her boyfriend, and you said don't steal your jacket.
Yeah.
All right.